David Muir, ABC's World News Tonight, America's most watched newscast. Now streaming same day with all the breaking news of the day on Disney Plus. Most watched, most trusted. Now on Disney Plus every night.
Tonight, the images just coming in. Americans finally leaving that luxury cruise ship at the center of the deadly hantavirus outbreak. And dramatic video of a Frontier Airlines plane hitting and killing a person on the runway. The luxury cruise ship docked at Spain's Canary Island early this morning. Passengers wearing face masks and full body protective equipment as they left that ship. The Americans are now heading back to the U.S. That outbreak is tied to 8 cases, including 3 deaths. Health officials say that none of the 140 passengers are showing symptoms, but French authorities say 1 passenger reported symptoms during their flight home. Our Maggie Rulli is on the scene. New question tonight about the deadly security breach at Denver International Airport. The heart-stopping moments just before the Frontier Airlines plane fatally struck a person on the runway. Also tonight, the dangerous weather battering the South. Damaging winds, large hail, and a tornado threat. Our weather team standing by with the forecast. Iran is responding to the latest U.S. peace proposal, calling for an immediate end to the more than 2-month-old war. Tonight, President Trump calling the response, quote, totally unacceptable, and warning Tehran to stop playing games. The Department of Justice launching an investigation into possible insider trading. Traders cashing in more than $2 billion in profits from suspiciously timed oil trades tied to the war with Iran. A terrifying scene in Florida. A suspect allegedly drove his car into a crowd at a block party. Police officers opening fire. Stunning new images of the Artemis II astronauts as the hatch door opens seconds after they splash back to Earth. The winners and losers from the NBA's draft lottery. Why Washington Wizards fans are celebrating. And on this Mother's Day, a powerful journey from grief to hope to motherhood.
From ABC News World Headquarters in New York, this is World News Tonight.
Good evening, and thanks so much for joining us on this Sunday. I'm Rachel Scott in for Lindsay Davis. We do begin tonight with the deadly hantavirus outbreak. The Americans on board that luxury cruise ship are finally headed back here to the U.S. These images just coming in tonight, those Americans getting on buses and waving before boarding their flights. That flight taking off just moments ago. Drone video from Spanish authorities capturing the first passengers leaving. 8 cases have now been confirmed, including 3 deaths. Officials saying that no one on board had any symptoms, but French authorities are now saying that one of their passengers reported symptoms in the middle of their flight back home. We have team coverage tonight, but we do begin with ABC's Maggie Rulli.
Tonight, 17 American passengers and 1 British national on the cruise ship at the center of the hantavirus outbreak, now heading to the United States. The repatriation flight landing in Tenerife around 7:30 a.m. local time. In 2 groups, those Americans shuttled to the port. Right there, those are the Americans finally on board that evacuation boat, leaving the cruise ship. You can see there's a small group of them. They're being ferried back and forth. They're all wearing full-length blue protective gear. The Americans on board buses giving us a wave as they head towards their flights. As of this morning, officials saying no one on board had any symptoms of hantavirus. But today, authorities in France say a French passenger reported symptoms in the middle of their repatriation flight home.
As you know, the last death from the current outbreak was on May 2nd. So we haven't recorded any death after that. And we hope there will not be any death.
3 people have died in this outbreak. And tonight, ABC News is learning the identity of one of the victims, 70-year-old Dutch national Leo Schilperode. Authorities believe the first victims had traveled to the Patagonia region where this virus is circulating.
Yes, we know that the first cases did travel to those regions. We just don't know which specific ones.
The U.S. still monitoring those 9 Americans who have already returned home across 6 states, and none have displayed any symptoms. The MV Hondias arriving in Spain around 5:30 in the morning. Evacuations beginning a few hours later. 94 people made up of 19 nationalities disembarking in small groups country by country. Drone video from Spanish authorities capturing the first passengers getting off that cruise ship. Wearing protective gear, snapping photos on their phones. Met at the dock by people in full hazmat suits wearing gas masks. Over the next several hours, passengers getting ready to head home. Before boarding their flights, some taking one last selfie.
So let's get right to our Maggie Rulli at the port where that cruise ship came in. Maggie, if that French passenger is eventually confirmed to have hantavirus, what impact is that going to have on the American passengers making their way back home? And what else are officials saying about how this is different from COVID-19?
Well, yeah, Rachel, this could potentially change the game. Now, every passenger on board that cruise ship is going to be assessed, and they will surely be asked if they had any close contact with that French passenger that's showing signs of hantavirus. If they say yes, well, their quarantine protocols could become much stricter. But, Rachel, it's really important to note, we spoke with one of the top epidemiologists from the WHO, and he said that while hantavirus might seem new and scary to a lot of people, it's actually a virus that they know really well, and they know how it spreads. And he insists it does not spread like COVID-19. Rachel?
Officials are stressing that. Okay, Maggie, thank you. The CDC is facing fresh scrutiny back here at home over its response to that deadly outbreak. Some experts are accusing the nation's top public health agency of not doing enough. The agency is now pushing back. Here's ABC's Christian Cordero.
Tonight, questions about the CDC's role in containing the hantavirus outbreak. The acting director of the CDC on CNN today pushing back against concerns about their response in managing that outbreak.
They didn't see what the CDC has been doing, right? So we are in touch with the WHO. We're in touch with the international health organizations.
As passengers from around the world, including 17 Americans, evacuate the ship where the virus spread, the World Health Organization has taken center stage.
But it is atypical to have so much quiet from CDC and really letting another organization be the voice that Americans are listening to.
President Trump withdrew the U.S. from the World Health Organization on day one of his second term. His administration has since laid off some 2,400 CDC workers, and over the last year, the agency has seen 3 interim directors, lacking a permanent leader since last August when Susan Menares was fired after just over a month in charge. The current acting CDC director insists the agency is following guidelines specific to this virus, dismissing critics.
This is not COVID, Jake, and we don't want to treat it like COVID.
Rachel, public health officials have not suggested the safety of those passengers nor the country have been compromised. But the CDC has not had a permanent director for 8 months. President Trump in April nominated a former Deputy Surgeon General, Dr. Erica Schwartz, for the job. Her confirmation is pending Senate approval. Rachel?
Christian, thank you. We turn now to the dramatic video of that security breach at Denver International Airport. A Frontier Airlines plane hitting and killing a person on the runway. We do want to warn you that some viewers may find this video disturbing. Here's ABC's Andrew Dimbert.
Tonight, new surveillance video showing the deadly collision between a person and a Frontier Airlines plane speeding down the runway ready for takeoff. Authorities say the person seen here scaled a fence near the runway and made it onto the tarmac at Denver International Airport just before midnight Friday. Just 2 minutes later, that passenger plane with 231 people and more than 21,000 pounds of fuel on board runs over the pedestrian.
There was an individual walking across the runway. We've got smoke in the aircraft. We're going to evacuate on the runway.
The impact sparking an engine fire, filling the cabin with smoke and forcing pilots to slam on the brakes and abort takeoff, a move that may have prevented an aviation disaster.
Tower Frontier 4345, we're stopping on the runway. We just hit somebody.
Passengers scrambling down emergency slides into the Denver night, many not yet realizing the horror that had unfolded beneath the plane until seeing it for themselves. Tonight, the FAA and NTSB are investigating the incident. Authorities are racing to answer the troubling question, how did someone make it onto an active runway at one of the nation's busiest airports?
The fencing at airports, the regulatory requirements are really not that robust. And that's one of the challenges.
It's the latest runway run-on in recent years. In 2020, a man was hit and killed by a Southwest Airlines flight on the runway at Austin's airport. In 2024, a shirtless man was arrested for running barefoot on the taxiway at LAX. And that same year, dramatic surveillance video capturing a man breaching security at Salt Lake City International, later found dead in a plane's engine.
In a statement, Frontier Airlines saying they are deeply saddened by this event, while the Denver airport says that it is reviewing their security perimeter program. Rachel?
Yeah, still so many questions here. Andrew, thank you. Now to the dangerous weather stretching from Texas to western Mississippi. Powerful thunderstorms pounding Katy, Texas, with heavy rain, hail, and damaging winds on Saturday. So let's get right to meteorologist Danny Beckstrom from our New York station, WABC. All right, Danny, walk us through this one.
Well, let's start with those storms. Radar lighting up tonight over Texas. We are seeing strong storms right over San Angelo right now. Severe thunderstorm watches posted for central Texas until 9 p.m. So I want to put Futurecast into play for you as you see this strong line of storms shift south and east. That means it impacts Houston by about midnight between now and then. Those storms could be dropping flooding downpours as well as damaging wind gusts and large to very large hail, especially in this area shaded in orange. That's your level 3 out of 5 risk for severe weather, but a very widespread area from San Antonio into portions of Mississippi, seeing the threat for strong storms. While in the west, it's all about the heat. We're holding on to near record highs for the next couple of days. In fact, an excessive heat warning in cities like Palm Springs and Phoenix as we move into Monday, Rachel.
Yeah, same 100 there in Las Vegas.
Yeah,
okay, Danny, thank you. Overseas now, Iran responding to the U.S. proposal to end the war, but tonight President Trump calling it totally unacceptable. All of it is raising major questions of when and how this conflict will end. Here's ABC's Tom Soupy-Burge in Tel Aviv tonight.
Tonight, with the Strait of Hormuz still blocked amid a fragile ceasefire, President Trump rejecting Iran's response to a U.S. interim proposal to end the war. The president saying in a post on social media, "I have just read the response from Iran's so-called representatives. I don't like it. Totally unacceptable." The one-page U.S. proposal would see Iran relinquish its stranglehold over the Strait of Hormuz, allowing free passage for the 1,500 cargo vessels trapped in the Persian Gulf, and providing some relief for the world's economy and gas prices in the U.S. In return, the U.S. would gradually ease its military blockade on Iranian ports, with a further 30-day period then beginning to negotiate a full deal.
We see now Iran's economy in absolute freefall. Its currency is down over 100%. Its foreign currency reserves are completely exhausted.
Tonight, those short-term compromises seemingly in jeopardy, more than a month after the ceasefire took hold. According to a source speaking with an Iranian state-linked news agency, Iran's response included demands like an end to the war and the lifting of oil sanctions within 30 days. In a new interview, the president telling Sinclair's Full Measure the U.S. could still bomb Iran again.
I said they are defeated, but that doesn't mean they're done. We could go in for 2 more weeks and do every single target.
Americans feeling the cost of the war with rising prices at the gas pump. The energy secretary saying today the administration is open to suspending the federal gas tax.
All measures that can be taken to lower the price at the pump and lower the prices for Americans, this administration is in support of.
Rachel, the main sticking point in the negotiations with Iran, the future of its nuclear program. And with still no breakthrough in ending the war, it's just days before President Trump is expected to travel to Iran's key ally, China, for a crucial summit with Chinese President Xi. Rachel?
71 days into this conflict. Tom, thank you. Next tonight, the Department of Justice is investigating possible insider trading linked to the war with Iran. People cashing in on more than $2 billion in profits, but the timing of those trades is raising serious questions. Here's ABC's Elizabeth Scholze.
Tonight, sources tell ABC News the Justice Department is investigating $2.6 billion of suspiciously timed oil trades tied to the Iran war. In at least 4 cases, oil traders bet prices would drop right before they actually did. Investigators now probing whether they'd received inside information.
Someone is profiting off Trump's war. Insiders who know what's going on and who place bets on that inside information.
On March 23rd, just 15 minutes before President Trump announced he would postpone attacks on Iran's power grid, traders bet more than $500 million oil prices would fall. After the president's announcement, that's exactly what happened. Same story on April 7th. Hours before Trump announced the ceasefire, nearly $1 billion in bets that oil would drop. And it did. 20 minutes before Iran announced the Strait of Hormuz would reopen, traders bet $760 million that oil would fall. It happened. And on April 21st, 15 minutes before Trump extended the ceasefire, $430 million in bets came in and paid off.
Secretary Hegseth, do you have any explanation for these perfectly timed spikes in trading activity other than insider trading?
Senator, all I can tell you is that everything we've done in our department, everything we've done with information, in working with the White House and across the interagency has been completely above board.
The identities of the alleged people who made these trades have not been made public. And tonight, sources say investigators are working to determine whether they cashed in on access to government secrets. Elizabeth Schulze, ABC News, Washington.
And we thank Elizabeth. A solemn discovery in the waters of North Africa. The remains of one of 2 U.S. soldiers who went missing during military exercises in Morocco have been recovered. U.S. officials say Army First Lieutenant Kendrick Lamont Key Jr. was found yesterday. The 27-year-old and another soldier fell off a cliff on May 2nd. The search for the other service members still continues. Still ahead on World News here tonight, a different look at Artemis II's return to Earth and a frightening end to what was supposed to be a fun day in Florida. Chaos in North Florida. Police say a man drove a car through a block party about an hour south of Jacksonville, hitting a number of people. Police say officers fired at the driver who sped off, then came and crashed into a patrol car. He faces assault and other charges. The suspect and a few of the attendees were treated for their injuries. In Louisiana, remembering the children known as the Eternal Eight. The young victims of last month's mass shooting in Shreveport were laid to rest. Hundreds gathered this weekend to mourn the 7 siblings and one of their cousins, all of them between the ages of 3 and 11 years old. Louisiana's governor ordering flags to be flown at half-staff in their honor until next Sunday. When we come back, whose ping pong ball bounced the best in the NBA draft lottery? Back now with the worst up first in the NBA draft lottery. As seen this afternoon right here on ABC, the Washington Wizards will pick number 1 overall in June's draft. The Wizards finished with a league-low 17 wins this season. It's the 3rd time they have won the lottery and the first since 2010. Utah, Memphis, Chicago, and the LA Clippers round out the top 5. On the court, scorching hot shooting from the Knicks in Philadelphia. As you saw right here on ABC, New York sank 11 three-pointers in the first quarter, 18 in the first half, and 25 altogether. All of those numbers tie the NBA records for a playoff game. The Knicks won 144-114 to take their series and a Game 4 sweep. Next up, Detroit or Cleveland in the Eastern Conference Finals, and you can watch that series on ABC and, of course, on ESPN. Next tonight, a different view of the Artemis II crew's return back here to Earth. This footage shot by Commander Reed Wiseman from inside the spacecraft as crews opened the hatch after splashdown. Navy divers cheering as they welcome the crew home 1 month ago from today. The commander writing on social media the moment was as good as it gets. When we come back, a new beginning on this Mother's Day. Finally tonight, the power of having hope on this Mother's Day.
On this Mother's Day, a story of grief, resilience, and hope. This is the first Mother's Day that Lauren Miller is celebrating with her baby boy Carter. The last one was marked by tragedy.
It was just the heartbreak.
Lauren and her husband Hunter live in High Point, North Carolina. After years of trying to conceive, the couple was overjoyed to learn they were expecting their very first child. But what began as a joyful chapter in 2024 quickly turned into sadness. Their daughter Cameron Ray died during birth due to a rare complication.
It was traumatic and so challenging just to keep living.
But despite the fear and uncertainty, the Millers made the decision to try again.
It was terrifying, and we got pregnant right away.
So on this Mother's Day, a new beginning.
First Mother's Day with Carter.
The Millers welcoming a healthy baby boy, Carter, in March.
The grief and joy intermingled constantly, but for any lost parents out there going through the early days, it does get better.
Her doctor, Natalie Rochester, by her side every step of the way.
Moms are made to do hard things, and Lauren has overcome a really hard thing.
And for Lauren, this Mother's Day is about sending a message.
Happy Mother's Day to us.
That even through grief, hope can still grow.
Just keep walking. Just take one more step. You just don't know how close you are to your miracle.
Thanks for watching and happy Mother's Day. I'm Rachel Scott. Good night.
David Muir, the most trusted anchor in America, the most watched anchor in America. Thank you for making World News Tonight with David Muir the #1 newscast in America.